that I think it is time for our good,
our bad,
and our brainless. Oh, the pen didn't work the way I wanted. Damn it. That was not such good shit, pal. All right, Cousin Jay, what do you got for your good this week?
So it's something that I did want to get into during the show, but I think it works perfectly fine here. Billy Corgan in NWA has made a whole bunch of different business moves this week. They decided that they were going to announce that they have an Ohio territory. Not only that, Billy Corgan has put the cat out of the bag. The NWA is actually more than likely going to end up on a top 20 television network. I'm guessing cable. My guess is also the Paramount Network. So good for them on doing that. Like, it seems like he's thinking differently and doing things differently, because it's like, hey, he's starting small and he's trying to broaden his base. He's talked about how he doesn't think YouTube has actually been a good partner for them, and talks about how YouTube has not been kind or good in general to pro wrestling. But it sounds like he is trying to move in a good direction, a different direction that will expand the business for his company, and I'm all for it. So that is my good this week. NWA doing things differently, expanding and testing the waters out there.
And it's a lot better when you don't have a Funkasaurus as your world champion.
Somebody call my mama.
It's a shame that he retired before we could get Funkasaurus versus Luchasaurus in the Battle of Dino Men. They could have put Reptar on a forklift.
Yes.
And the Toronto Raptors mascot.
Yeah.
And that is a fantastic good, Jay. And I completely forgot all about that. And I'm very happy that Billy Corgan is doing that and expanding his horizons in professional wrestling. I think it's great for wrestling, because there's no such thing as having too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
But for me, for my good for this week, is something I did mention earlier. And that is the future of WWE is very bright. And it was very much seen on Tuesday with the fact that Roxanne Perez went up one-on-one with Asuka, who is the greatest NXT women's wrestler of all time.
Yes.
Carmelo Hayes got to share the ring with The Undertaker, John Cena, and Paul Heyman. And I could say the same thing for Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker got chokeslammed by The Undertaker to end the show.
Did you really see John Cena?
That was funny as shit. When he was in there with Breaker, and Breaker goes, "You think they came to see you?" And he goes, "They can't." I popped so I'm like, this joke's never gonna die. It can't. No. I don't care how many people out there that complain about, oh, this joke is old. No, it will never get old.
No, it's classic.
It is epic. It is the greatest thing, and the fact that Cena still plays on with it is all that matters. They can't. But the future of WWE looks very, very bright. I can't say enough good things about Braun Breaker and how I feel about him, because I said I'd take him over anybody else over the next 20 years. Carmelo Hayes is going to be a future WrestleMania main eventer. The kid is money. He's got a look, and he's a great wrestler. And Roxanne Perez is definitely another one that they could build around in the women's division. So for me, the future of WWE being where it is right now gets my good for this week. What do you got for your bad?
I'm going in an interesting direction with my bad for this one. NFL fined Stephon Diggs when he did a celebrational stone cold beer bath on himself.
What?
They fined him, I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $13,000, $13,500. That man should get like highlight of the week, not fined. It's okay if people woo on the field, but you can't do a Stone Cold bear bath.
What? That's right. He's going to counteract it because when they're playing the Giants on Sunday, he's gonna punch somebody in the skull.
Yeah.
At least I hope he does, because I want the Giants to go 1-16 the rest of the year.
All right. What is your bad brainless one?
Caleb Williams, you are a New York Giant. My bad for this. My bad for this week is the New York Giants. I'm just kidding. They're my bad every week. My bad for this week, I'm going to go with some of these wrestling pages and dirt sheets. I'm going a little bit outside the box. And I'm going to tell you why they got my bad for this week. I am sick and tired of all of these clickbait pages. It's bad enough I got these ones where it's like 40 pictures of this or 40 examples of this. But now that the wrestling pages are doing this is ridiculous. You need to stop writing in there WWE legend when you're talking about Vince Russo.
Vince Russo.
If you're talking about wrestling writer, it's not Vince Russo. If you and it's not even just the whole Vince Russo thing. It's another thing when you're doing these when some of these pages, and it might even be a page that we were or are associated with, when they were talking about former WWE participant signs contract with AEW. And I said, what the hell are they talking about? And I click on it. Kota Ibushi.
I mean, he did participate.
Come on.
Right.
This is like if anybody in AEW gets in trouble for it, like if Chris Jericho got in trouble, they're not going to go former WWE superstar Chris Jericho. No, they're going to talk about AEW star. Kota Ibushi was in the Cruiserweight Classic that really nobody remembers. Not too many people other than like the diehards remember that TJP won the thing. And the only reason that TJP won the thing was because Kota Ibushi and Zack Sabre didn't want to sign with WWE.
Right.
He is not a former WWE star. He is not, just because he participated in a tournament does not make it, it's just clickbait. That's all it is. And I'm getting tired of it. I hate the fact that people do this and they try to bring eyeballs to the screen because if they throw WWE on it instead of New Japan, it's not going to get as many clicks. But when you do something like that, you're just going to piss off people like me. So that's why I got my bad for this week.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm sick and tired of somebody writing something like that about Vince Russo just to get me to re-question every decision I've ever made in my life when I have to read anything that Vince Russo said.
All right, Chris Brown in the comments saying, my good LA Knights promo on Roman 20 minutes ago.
Wow.
Is bad, possibly being subjected to Roman versus Cena at Blood Money.
That was a match they were talking about.
Brainless, does it really need to be said? Tony, I emulate. Donald, I'm addicted to endless 8 balls of crack. Trump Jr., Khan needs to be forced into getting banned from social media for the rest of his life. All right.
Counteract that one, Jay.
You know, there are several things that could have gone brainless. Like last week, I specifically went outside of professional wrestling because Kurt Schilling needed a special place. There was plenty of reasons to go outside of professional wrestling this week, but I decided I was not going to do that. Something I mentioned earlier in the show, I'm excited to see Iron Claw. I think the movie is going to be entertaining. It's going to be sad.
Yeah.
But literally, there is one Von Erich alive that could verify the stuff you're telling in the damn movie. And you didn't reach out to him? Are you kidding me? Like you did you think he was going to mess with something you have creatively thought up for this movie? Well, why don't you just say that this is a thing of fiction? It's not a biopic, it's a thing of fiction. You got somebody who could verify shit, who I'm sure, I mean, he has done interviews with people, you know, many people, many organizations since all that stuff happened. I'm sure he would have been completely fine with being a consultant for that movie and saying, yes, this is true. No, this isn't true. Don't make my dad look like an asshole. That wasn't who my dad was. I think, though, that because Kevin would have said, no, my dad wasn't like that. I think that's the main thing. I think the movie probably wants to make it seem like Fritz von Erich was this not great father. Whenever you hear Kevin talk about his father, he says, my dad was a great dad. He didn't force us kids to do anything. He wanted us to be good men and good human beings. And I'm guessing specifically the producers they needed somebody to be the bad guy. And I'm going to guess they're choosing Fritz von Erich to be the bad guy. And that's why they didn't involve Kevin.
Fair enough.
I'm still going to see the movie, though. I'm going to see the movie.
They got to tell a good story.
Yeah.
Just remember that. I'm sorry, Jay. As much as I would like to give it to that or anything else that has happened, I'm sorry. This whole week has just proven to me that my shunning must continue as Tony Khan has once again won my Brainless for this week. We've already talked about all the stuff that he has done with the social media, going after Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Vince McMahon, going after these trolls. The fact that you're sitting there and you're talking shit about Vince McMahon and all of his indiscretions that he has done in his life. And this past Tuesday, one of your wrestlers, I get it, it's part of his gimmick that he hits people with a sack of coins. But the fact that he wrote Friedman on the quarters after everything that's going on right now. Not a good look for you, pal. So the fact that you're going after them for what they're saying and what they're doing, and you're not even like taking into consideration, like, I should probably look at the full picture. You know, it's like the old saying, people in glass houses shouldn't throw rocks. And I really was hoping for the Buffalo Bills to slap the shit out of Jacksonville and London, England. And I was also hoping they were going to keep them and Tony Khan in England after the game, but that's neither here nor there. But Tony Khan, congratulations. You have once again got the Brainless for the week. And what was it? Not even like a couple weeks ago, was it? Oh, yeah, it was like 3 weeks ago. It's now going to be between you and Ray Phoenix and the fucking ass clown referee who watched John Moxley get dropped on his head twice. It's going to be a coin flip for me of who's going to win Brainless for the year between those two.
For me, quite honestly, it's going to take a lot for somebody to beat Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
I know he's outside of wrestling, but what the...
Yeah. And the fact that people are defending him. The people who are defending him, I'm like, do you realize, like, oh, just because he said something like that? I'm like, do you realize that he financially bankrupted the state of Rhode Island?
Well, he didn't bankrupt Rhode Island. Like,
close enough.
He made it difficult. I was there in Rhode Island when all that went down.
Yeah.
All that being said, if a man wants to fight cancer in private, let it remain private. He should not have had to answer any damn questions in his dying 48 hours.
Yep.
About that. It was totally disrespectful and just... Tim Wakefield is among... It sounds like one of the best human beings that's ever existed.
Yep.
Just let me live my life. Let me do good in my community. Let me be a good citizen. Let me die with dignity. I don't want people to know my struggle.
The man was part of that organization as a player and as a personality on TV for nearly 30 years, if not more than 30 years.
And that's why it's going to be very tough for anybody to overcome that for me. As much as maybe like there'll be a special exemption I'll make where it's like, all right, I'll have my shit bag of the year for a wrestler and then just my shit bag of the year.
There you go.
So
I will say this, and the one thing I will talk about with Tim Wakefield, and I know if you're a Red Sox fan, if you've been to more than a couple of games,
everybody saw Tim Wakefield pitch.
You either saw Tim Wakefield pitch, you saw them play against Toronto, or if you had the luxury like I did a couple of times, I got to watch Tim Wakefield pitch against Toronto. That is what it's like being a Red Sox fan who's gone to a game.